Welcome to the deep dive. You know the moment you're about to peel a beautiful, ripe lychee, really looking forward to that sweet, juicy flavor, and then you see it. That tiny white speck, often kind of curled up right near where the stem was. It's a bit, well, a bit off-putting, isn't it? Makes you wonder, what is that thing and why is it always, like, right there? It feels way too specific to just be chance.
It really does feel deliberate, and you're absolutely right. It's a question a lot of people have. It's definitely not random. Today, we're going to dig into this common little mystery. We'll find out not just what these things are, but the really clever reasons, sometimes devastating reasons why they pick that exact spot. Get ready, because this might just change how you look at your next lychee, and maybe even the whole fruit aisle.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really explore this hidden life inside Lychees. We're pulling the key info from our sources to get the what, the why, and the how behind these little visitors.
And it's fascinating because it goes beyond just one fruit. This tiny interaction shines a light on some pretty complex survival strategies in nature. And also the surprising impacts these have on agriculture, on trade. It affects a lot more than just, your snack.
Okay, let's dive right in then. These little worms that we sometimes find, are they just, I don't know, garden variety worms that crawled in somehow? What are we actually seeing?
Yeah, good question. And no, not random intruders or soil worms. That's the first key thing. What you're finding are actually the larvae of fruit flies. Specifically, it's often the oriental fruit fly. So think baby fruit flies, basically, the very early stage.
Ah, larvae. Okay, so insect young.
Precisely. What happens is the female fruit fly, she's quite picky, she uses her egg-laying tube, it's called an ovipositor, to carefully place her eggs inside the lychee. After just maybe 2 or 3 days, those eggs hatch into these tiny larvae, and that's what we find munching away inside.
Wow. So it's not just a bug that happened to be there, it's deliberately placed. It's the start of their life cycle right there in the fruit. That makes it, well, way more interesting than just a worm.
Exactly. Purposeful placement.
Okay, that makes sense. But here's the bit that really gets me, what always at the tip, right near the stem attachment point. It seems incredibly precise. There has to be a reason, right? Some advantage.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic example of natural selection at work. Our sources point to 3 main strategic reasons why that spot is just perfect. It's essentially a luxury nursery for the fruit fly babies.
A luxury nursery. Okay, tell me more.
Well, first, it comes down to easy access, simple mechanics. The skin right near the stem is the thinnest and softest part of the whole lychee. So for the female fly, it's just much easier to pierce through their ovipositor. Less work, basically. More efficient.
Okay, thinner skin, easier entry. Makes sense. What else?
Second, it's a nutrient hotspot. Think of the stem like the pipeline bringing all the sugars and water from the tree into the fruit. That connection point, the tip, is where all those nutrients are flowing most readily. So when the larvae hatch, boom, instant, rich food source right there. Helps them grow really fast.
Right, prime real estate for food. Got it. And the third reason?
And third, it's about protection. It's a more sheltered spot. It's often shaded by the stem itself, maybe some leaves. This helps keep it from drying out in the sun. Larvae are delicate. They need that moisture. So this little microclimate at the tip is ideal for their survival and development.
Wow, so easy access, tons of food, and a safe, moist environment.
You put those 3 together, and yeah, it's not just a random spot. It's the perfect location. Chosen. As one source brilliantly put it, it really is like a luxury nursery tailor-made for fruit fly
A
offspring.
luxury nursery. I love that. It really paints a picture. It's not random at all. It's this really sophisticated, evolved survival tactic. Pretty amazing, actually.
It is amazing from the fly's point of view. A
Yeah.
brilliant strategy. But this is where the story takes a sharp turn, isn't it? Because what's a fantastic nursery for a larva? Well, it's a huge, sometimes catastrophic problem for the people growing the lychees.
Yeah, that's the crucial flip side. For us, finding one might just be a bit gross. Maybe we toss the fruit. But what does this mean for the farmers? This has got to be more than just an annoyance for them.
Oh, it's far, far more. For farmers, these larvae represent a serious agricultural threat and, frankly, an economic disaster. Firstly, any lychee that gets infested like this is damaged goods. It spoils quickly, looks unappealing, and it's just plain unsellable. It won't meet quality standards.
Right, nobody wants to buy wormy fruit.
Exactly. And that leads to the second point. Markets have really strict quality control. If they find evidence of pests like fruit fly larvae, entire shipments can be rejected. They're considered unsafe, unfit for consumers. So large portions of a harvest can suddenly become completely worthless.
Wow, entire shipments. That sounds devastating.
It leads to massive financial losses. Our sources mention figures. Annual losses for farmers, due to fruit flies, can run into the hundreds of millions of ballage in some regions. Just think about that scale. And it doesn't stop there. Sometimes countries will actually ban imports of lychees from areas known to have fruit fly problems. So it hits international trade too.
Goodness. Hundreds of millions. That's staggering.
It really is. These tiny little larvae, these baby fruit flies, can genuinely ruin an entire orchard's profitability for the year. It puts immense pressure on farmers.
That really puts my momentary ew into perspective. You find one, you're maybe annoyed for a second, but for them, it's their livelihood on the line. So, given how devastating this is, what are farmers actually doing about it? How do they fight back against these tiny invaders? What are the strategies?
Yeah, it's a constant fight, and they've come up with some pretty clever methods. It's often a combination approach. One big one is bagging the fruits while they're still young and growing on the tree. They'll cover individual lychees, or clusters, with special paper or mesh bags. It's basically a physical shield. Stops the female fly from getting to the fruit to lay her eggs in the first place.
Ah, simple but effective, like putting a little jacket on each fruit.
Kinda, yeah. Then there are fruit fly traps. Often farmers make these themselves, maybe bottles with some kind of bait inside that attracts the adult flies. The idea is to trap and kill the adults, reducing the overall population so there are fewer flies laying eggs.
Okay, reduce the number of parents, reduce the number of babies. Makes sense.
Another really crucial step, though it sounds basic, is orchard sanitation. Specifically, collecting and destroying any fruit that falls to the ground. If infested fruits are just left there, the larvae inside finish developing, they drop into the soil, and they pupate, that's their transformation stage, and then boom, new adult flies emerge, ready to start the cycle all over again. So cleaning up fallen fruit breaks that cycle.
Right, you have to stop them from completing their life cycle in the orchard.
Exactly. And then there's a more advanced technique. Biological control. This is really fascinating. It involves releasing natural enemies of the fruit fly. They're these tiny wasps called parasitoid wasps. They don't sting people or anything. What they do is hunt for fruit fly eggs and lay their own eggs inside them. The wasp larva then consumes the fruit fly eggs, so they kill the pest before it even hatches.
Wow, using nature against nature, that's pretty sophisticated.
It is. Now, none of these methods alone is like the magic bullet. They can't eliminate the problem 100%. But using them together, bagging, trapping, sanitation, sometimes biological control farmers can significantly reduce the level of infestation and protect a good portion of their crop.
It sounds like a tremendous amount of work and ingenuity, a constant battle, really, just to grow the fruit we enjoy.
It really is. A lot goes into it.
Okay, so let's sort of recap our deep dive here. It's pretty clear now. Those little worms you might find in a lychee, not random at all, they're the larvae of the oriental fruit fly, deliberately placed in that prime spot near the stem, the luxury nursery, because it offers easy access, great food, and shelter for the bigger chance of survival.
Perfectly put. A brilliant evolutionary strategy for the fly. But as we've seen, this creates a massive challenge, a serious economic burden for the farmers who cultivate lychees around the world. It's that stark contrast.
So think about this next time you're peeling a lychee. Knowing this whole backstory, the fly's strategy, the farmer's struggle, does it change how you see that fruit? Maybe you appreciate it a bit more. Or perhaps it just makes you think about all the complex hidden battles happening in nature and agriculture all the time.
That's a great takeaway thought. Because this dive into one tiny insect and one type of fruit really does open up these huge interconnected webs, doesn't it? Biology, economics, human effort, all wrapped up in something we might just casually eat. It really makes you wonder, what other everyday things around us hold these kinds of complex, fascinating stories just waiting to be uncovered? If we just, look a little closer, ask a few questions, it shows how knowledge can totally shift our perspective, encouraging us to see the world with maybe a bit more curiosity.